Hello, thank you for coming along to watch my video today. I'm going to be doing something a little bit different to my other weeks. The other weeks I've been focusing on creating some memory decks cards, but this week I thought I'd do some paper dolls. Now this is something I've seen quite a few people on YouTube doing, and they are using their people stamps and different papers and different elements to create these collage dolls. Now apparently there is a free class about making paper dolls for collage, and I will try to find it because I'm sure it's on somebody's video and link it below. I personally haven't watched the class because just by seeing a few pictures of what other people were doing, I sort of got the gist of how to do them. So I thought I'd do my own sort of version of making paper dolls. I presume that the idea has come from those sorts of books that certainly I used to have when I was a child. We used to have books where you pressed out the form of a doll, and then you had all different outfits, and you could mix and match excuse me, the outfits that you put onto them. So it's sort of a similar concept, but making it sort of more grown up, I suppose. So I started off by having a look to see what people stamps I had, and it made me realise that people stamps is something that I don't really have a lot of. I love my butterflies, I love my flowers, I love insects, I love steampunk. I obviously don't love things with lots of people on, but I did find a few. So I found this one from All and Create. This is quite an old one. This is number 85. I think they're in the like 500s with their stamps now. And this was designed by Fiona Poltridge. I don't think she designs for them anymore. I haven't seen any of hers recently, but I just bought this one. But I thought that would be quite a good funky face, and also there's a little crown on there, so that might be quite handy. Then I had to really dive back into the archives of my stamps, so to speak. Now, I was fortunate enough when Leonie Pujol first ever brought out a range of stamps to be on her design team. So I have got a couple of stamps that last night I suddenly remembered this one. I had remembered this rag doll one, so but she has got a very tiny face, so I'm not quite sure. I might have to do her as a very tiny doll. But then I remembered that there was this one, which is the fairy godmother. In my head, I was remembering it as being an angel, but I think it's because it could be. I was sorry about it has got wings, but I thought she'd make quite a nice paper doll because her head, and then you could adapt what was going on with her body there. So that's that one, and the ragdoll. And I also do have these journaling girls from Be Crafty. So I thought I have done a bit of altering these before myself. I've altered them with butterfly wings. I did a tag the other week, which is it here? Oh, it's here. It's right here. This one here, along the similar sorts of lines, where I took the head of it was this one, and I totally changed her hair. I kept the top of a dress, but then I cut out a piece of paper to make the skirt, and then I added some bits and a butterfly wing. So it's sort of taking this idea but to another sort of level, I think, so that you have the dolls ready for if you want to add them into your art journaling, or my aim is to add them onto tags to put into an altered book that I am going to be making. And I will be decorating the cover of that this week, which I'm hoping to video and hopefully have up on Thursday, but I won't make any promises. So I also went through my stash, and I discovered I had an old, I think it's Craftwork cards, paper pad. I have got so many paper pads that really I have not used. This one I think is a bit broken. This was like, it was like a couture collection, but it had all these mannequin die cuts that you popped out. So I popped them all out and thought they might be quite good to use as a body form, to put a head and some clothing and things on. So that was an idea. I've got my Diane Reevely Dilutions collage. It's got lots of heads and bodies and things in it. I also downloaded Marta Lapowska, I think that's how you say her name. I apologise if I'm wrong. She's Maramie's Small Art, and I will link her channel and the link to these in the description box. She has a buy me a coffee section on her website. You don't have to buy her a coffee. She always makes that quite clear. So the idea is you can donate some money for these. She has a selection of free digi papers that you can download. You don't have to actually donate anything. She said that quite clearly, but if you want to, you can to help support her. But there is one that's got some like little outfits, and it's got also some animal heads. I didn't really want animal heads, so I didn't cut those ones out, but I did cut out the butterfly because I thought that might look quite nice maybe behind something. But she's got some images on there that I thought would be useful as well. Oh, and I did also get out my Asher Winged and Co drawings collection, because I was thinking that some of the butterflies would be really nice as well for the back, or even this dragon, sort of like a butterfly dragonfly, but some of her winged creatures might be quite nice for the background of some of these paper dolls as well. So we'll start off by, this is just a piece of card that I'm going to make some tags out of it at some point. This is with some watercolour card, and we'll stamp out some of the people. Now I'll probably just make a couple of these. I won't make loads. So I think I'm going to go with the fairy godmother. So let's get some ink. The only thing I'm just thinking is this is one of those where it hasn't got any cling or anything, and I have not got a glue stick or anything with me. I think I might just, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ink her up, and I'm going to put the card on the top. So I do like my clear stamps that cling automatically, and if I buy rubber I do tend to buy ones that are already cling mounted, because I do like to have that on the back. So let's do her there, and I don't necessarily need her all, but I will try to fit her that way around. So this is another way, if you haven't got an acrylic block or a stamping platform, or sometimes if you've got a really big stamp, sometimes this is an easier way, if you haven't got a block big enough, to put it down and then rub your card over the top. Let's hope that's worked. Ish, that's fine. I can do ish. So let's pop her back in there. She has got some angel wings, but I wanted to, because the idea is that you're altering the image, so you're only taking parts of the images. I'm not even going to try and put that back in there. Let's go with, where's that one? This one, because that's really different. And I've just put, oh no, I did put the block away, didn't I? Let's give this one a bit of ink as well. I'm using archival because if I want to colour them with watercolours, then I know that that will be fine, and that is likely to be how I would colour them. This could make quite a scary looking one, couldn't it? And I'm actually going to stamp the crown as well, I think, because the crown would be quite, the crown could go on her, couldn't it? Rather than on the one it was intended to. So it's just a sort of like a fun process, really, just to mix and match, and it's a good, what do they call it, a stash buster, where it was really nice actually to go through. I got all my paper pads out, and because I was looking for ones that might have faces on. I was hoping maybe I had some paper with faces on. I didn't. I obviously go for a very floral and insect theme for that as well, or steampunk. But you can go through your papers, have a look, see what's in those as well. And we'll do one more, just so that we've got some different ones to pick and choose from. I think that's the thing, having a selection to pick and choose from means that it's quite good fun. It's just like having those paper dolls. We tended to used to get them, we'd go to the shops, I think, and Mum, I think, obviously bought them to keep us quiet afterwards. Usually from W.H. Smith's, from what I remember. If you're not UK based, W.H. Smith's is like a stationery, bookshop, toy shop, news agency type chain that we have in the UK. And they're still going today. So they're doing well. There you go. See, I'm not too worried if they don't stamp brilliantly, just as long as I get a bit of an impression, because they're going to be all muddled up anyway. So you could also then get some of your flowers and things like that, because I think that's going to be a fun part as well as embellishing them. So I'm going to cut these out, and I won't make you watch me cut these out, so I'll be back in a second. Okay, so I've cut them out. I've cut parts of these ones off. So I did change her hair a bit. I gave her a shorter haircut on that one. I didn't cut the bottom of that one out either, because I didn't think it would be required, because I'm now actually thinking, now this is going to probably look a little bit brutal, but I am going to take the head off of this one. Right, keep that just in case. And I'm going to take the head off of this one. So you could just swap their bodies. Oh, that'd be quite funky, wouldn't it? Just swapping their bodies around. And I am going to also take the head from this one, but then so that I can switch them around and just add them to different things. So I might actually take that long bit of hair there. I prefer that. So I've got a few heads for my paper dolls, and I'm thinking that crown is going to go on her now, because I would prefer that. See, that could go, she could go on there now, couldn't she? That would look quite good, but I'm not going to use them bits for that. I think I'm going to go with one of the mannequins to be a body form, and I was thinking, I don't know where to go, on top or, I think I'm going to go behind. Now this is going to be a little bit flimsy, I've realised from that, but I'm going to just do the best I can, and eventually my thought is that these would probably be on a tag anyway. So let's take that and put that on there. Make sure it's right there in the middle. If you wanted to, you could give her a face. There are face stamps on the set actually that I could have used. And I'm also going to put her crown on here. So at a jaunty angle. I thought that would go with that sort of theme of that one. Now I'm thinking I'd like to do a bit of a skirt going on, so I've dragged out just a few paper pads. This is just a few of a massive stash. So I've got some different ones. I've got this is Prima Belle Rouge. It's probably really old. I have to apologise if any of this stuff is now no longer available, because it has been in my craft stash for quite a while. Let me just put that into the glue so it doesn't dry out. This was one I got in the works. Yep, it was in the works. They're very, very inexpensive. And then I've got this one, which is Craftwork cards. I don't even know if Craftwork cards are still going, but I thought that might have some quite pretty prints and things to make things out of. Especially, I'm thinking that probably for these you're going to need a smaller sort of print rather than a large bold design. So I'm thinking, because that's got like a bit of a vintagey style, well, quite like that one. And I might go, and I'm thinking just a skirt rather than a full dress, because I want to keep that top part of the mannequin as the top of the body, because I think that's quite funky. So let's go and let's just get a pencil. Just as thinking, have I even got just a plain normal pencil, or we'll go with a pen. There we go. So let's go, just might go a bit in actually, go do it like that, go in and then out. And then across the bottom. I think that pen's running out, so let's just give that a little bit of a. So this is, again, if you've got paper pads, you're not sure what to do with them. I've got so many. I don't tend to really use paper pads anymore. I tend to, if I want a background for anything, I create it myself with inks and stamps and stenciling. So that was my phone, I apologise. And let's see what that will look like. So that gives the skirt there. I quite like that. So could have probably done with a bit more, but I'm going to stick some other bits on, so I'm not going to worry too much. We may only get through one of these, I'm thinking now. I always have good intentions of doing so much in videos and lives and realise things take so much longer than you think. So let's pop the skirt on here. Oh, I did that really close to the wire with the cutting. Should have been a bit more generous with my paper, I think. Yeah, so she's now got a skirt going on. I have cut out one of the Asher butterflies, so I was thinking she could have butterflies, but I'm going to have to chop the top of that off because that's going to show. So, I mean, you could stick the little horns actually on the top of that one. That could be a really evil looking one, couldn't it, that one? So let's put that there. Let's put it a bit higher, I think a bit higher up. So this is really just sort of playing around, I think, with your stash and creating something new from old things or things you had in there that you didn't really sort of maybe like anymore, or you had forgotten about, in my case. I'm thinking I would like to use some dilutions as well for some of these other ones. So if I start another one, we'll just do two, I think, now. I'm debating now which one. See, I think that might look quite funky on that actually. Maybe it's little evil antennae on the top, but I want to use some of the papers really, so let's save that for another day along with her and that body, and we'll get some of the dilutions papers. Now she does in her kits, oh yes, straight away I'm loving that. I won't put that on there, I don't think. Some fabulous, she has like these body shapes, so if you don't want that you can go with sort of just a very plain body shape. I'm quite liking, oh, I'm now thinking, see, changing my mind already, that maybe, no, that's too small, she could have that body and this one could have that body. Really we need some legs, so let's see what legs we've got. I'm just making myself chuckle here, aren't I? Oh yes, I think that's got to be the one. So let's do a bit of glue on here. Oh God, I've just literally taken that pin out, haven't I? And already I do really struggle with acrylic glue. If somebody can tell me one that never bungs up, I will gratefully like to know. Right, okay, let's just give that a push that onto there, and then let's give some glue along the top here. There we go. I think some of these, I think this one would actually have to, is going to have to go in a journal page. I think maybe I'll use this one for my Tuesday journaling video. I think that will be fun. This one could probably go in a quite big tag. Shall we stick her head on there as well so she can, I wonder if I've got a different colour actually, because I'm not overly wanting too many the same. I'd like some, oh look at that head. That head could go on that body there. See, this is the thing, this is what I think would happen, is that you'll start off and you'll wanted to make a couple and then you'll end up making loads and loads. I've just spotted that though, look. That's quite good, I quite like that. I'm not going to make that one. I'm going to leave that one. I'm going to focus on these. So I want to give them a bit of colour to their faces, and I have stamped onto watercolour card. So let's get some watercolour pens, and we need my water brush, which has got filthy dirty water in, so I might actually leave that. I might get a normal brush and my water spritzer instead. Put a bit of water there instead of, and use my acrylic block as a little palette. So what colour? Beige. We want sort of I like to build my colours up for faces, but I'm just trying to find a colour that's not, what's that one? Pink beige. Let's go with pink beige. Sorry about that squeaky noise. I quite like it, but I know some people don't. So let's just give a quick wash. I'm not going to sort of be really worrying too much about the face colourings, because it is sort of quite a organic sort of fun sort of. It's not meant to be sort of, you know, fine watercolour, if you know what I mean. So I'm it's just to give a semblance of colour to the faces, so that you know that they fit with the rest of it. Let's do some brown hair on her, because that's the colour that is here, and then it will stand out, the crown will stand out against it. So, like I said, I'm not trying to be watercolourist of the year. Bit of yellow for the crown, of course. There we go. And I think we do need we need a blue. Oh, a blue for blue eyes. A bit blue eyes. I couldn't have picked a smaller one of these, could I, too? There we go. And we might just give a little. I'd quite like the fact that it's going over and it's not staying in the things. I think it gives it a more sort of arty look, she says. Right, so let's, oops, I managed to do that, didn't I? That's those coloured in. And I think this one over here needs some kind of something on its head. But it doesn't have to be something that would normally be on a head. We could get something a bit different. I'm not sure. What else could we go with? What have we got? Oh, I know what was on that stamp, that paper sheet that I hadn't cut out. So this is where I've cut all the bits out. Oh, can I just apologise? The colours of this paper, they would not be this colour. My printer ink was running out, that's why they look like they look. We've got a big bow here. Let's get the big bow going on. I'm trying to remember what this paper sheet was called, because I've got terrible colour on here because of my ink. It's a bit difficult to see where you're cutting. It was called, I think it was called Be Unique or Unique You or something like that. If you, oh yes, there we go. So a little bit of glue on there. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to quickly give it a dry before I stick that on with a lowish heat, just so that it sticks properly. Doesn't matter if it's not sort of, you know, thoroughly dry. I'm just wondering whether I should go around that with the black pen, but I think I quite like it as it is. There we go, bow on the head there. So I'm liking that. So let me just lift her up so you can have a look. Now at this point, you can, actually I'm just going to add a bit more of that colour in there while it's dry so that I can get a bit more intense. I could colour them in a bit better. So I'm thinking I do want a bit more pink in their cheeks. So let's go a bit of a pink. It's just like a, and I can get my, hope it doesn't dry before I get my water on there. Just to blend it out a little bit. There we go. I am loving that one. But what I would now do is I would now go with my white gel pen or my white Posca pen and probably my black Posca pen and add in some extra sort of details down the arms and things, just to give some more sort of definition to things, or just to make it a bit more my own, even though to be fair it is your own straight away, isn't it, because you're totally altering what was there before. But see, this one, that body is slightly obscured I think by the wings, so I might, if I go around with a black, this is a Stabilo All pencil. If you've never seen them before, it's like a watercolour pencil, but it's one that, it's called All because it marks all things. It's if you, on it says it's for paper, glass, plastic and metal, made in the Czech Republic. Stabilo, it's by Stabilo. They're really good, especially within art journaling, for drawing and then wiping out the lines, but also because it is a Marks All pencil, it goes over your acrylic paints and all those sorts of things. But it is water reactive, so that is something to remember, because it will, obviously, if you then put anything over the top of it, it will activate it like I'm doing here. But I'm sort of doing it, I'm now thinking I quite like the idea of that being a bit darker, just around the edges. So, but then you can take it back a little bit there where that's not gone into that. So sometimes just need to, if you've stuck things on top, sometimes you just need to go in and get into those gaps, because it will leave, you will sometimes see that little bit of a white edge. Like what? That's a bit better. I might go over the whole thing actually. Now I would probably now use some gems or something to go onto here, maybe a bit of lace. I haven't got any right in front of me, I don't think. Or what you could do is, so like on the skirt, if I have a stencil, you can add your own sort of bits of stenciling in. So what could I do on here? Let me have a look at what I've got around me. Oh, I could do a bit of ink, couldn't I? Let's do a bit of ink. So let's get, I'm wondering now whether, because I've done, because it's a plasticky coating, I would go with an archival, which means I'm not overly happy about doing it on this one, but I've got this green. Oops, it says dropping all the inks. I'm already in a total like crafty lunch around me. Actually, I don't need to do it with a brush, do I? Because if I put it here, what I could do is just go through. I don't normally do this, but it might work. It might be terrible, but it's just really to show that you can just do, you know, it's an opportunity then to get out all those things. Well, this didn't work very well at all, did it? But it did it a little bit. All those things you don't normally use, or that you want to use, you can't think how where to use them. if you just did it with a little bit of time like that, would be better. Obviously, if you did it with something else, that would work a lot better, but there you go, gives you a hint. But I would probably carry on, I'll carry on playing with these a bit, but it's just really to give the idea of what you could start to do. But I'll certainly find that video that links, or the one that links to the actual class. And there you go, my 2 paper dolls so far, and I'll probably be making loads more. And on Tuesday I'm definitely using this one in my art journaling video. So thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed, do please give us a like with a thumbs up. And if you haven't already subscribed, I'd really love it if you could do that as well. And like I always say, I really do love to see your comments and read your comments. And if you've got anything you want to ask, do please ask in the comments. I'll always get back to you. So thank you very much, and bye bye.